Good morning. Welcome to the Mayor's Weekly. We're pleased to have you with us today. Winter rolls along. One day it's warm, the next day it's freezing, one day it's raining, one day it's not. But that's winter in North Alabama, so we can't change any of that. But joining me this morning is Peter Cosmiano, who looks after our park and rec activities. And Peter, there's a lot that in normal times that go on under the Park and Rec umbrella. We have young folks involved in baseball and soccer and basketball and lots of other things, I reckon. And and parents are interested in their children, and that's certainly pleasing to me. That's what they should be. And Peter, I know you've been around this sort of work for a long time, and to say that COVID has been disruptive to what we do in Park Rec would be an understatement, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's an interesting time that we've had, of course, with the COVID. It's done things even to the point that it shut down sports, it shut down activities. And so probably about a year ago, we were hosting a tournament, and I remember it well. We were hosting an NCAA tournament, a conference crossover, and the news came out from the conference that everything needed to be shut down. And so we had to sit there and watch college kids, even high school kids, just pack up their bags and that be it for their season. And so it's affected that. It's affected NCAA, pro sports, but it really has affected our league play and what our programming, what we can offer.
Peter, coming from a long tenure in the banking business and then having been here a little over 4 years, people can come with some very strange notions, and I've encountered some strange notions, one of them being that those of us in government has just put this together to work a hardship on our young folks. Nothing further from the truth.
Absolutely not. This is I think I've heard you say it from the Mayor's Weekly. This is a real situation. There's no questioning that. Honestly, I've had it. My family's had it. It's not something that we want to take lightly. We also don't want to contribute to the spread of that, in our personal or our professional lives.
Yeah. Another thing I hear, Peter, and I can remember so vividly growing up and my mother talking to me, and then this is good advice. And I had a lady call me just a few days ago. Well, governmental entity A, B, or C, or county, they're doing it. Well, clearly, that is not a justification for the city of Jasper to do it. As I shared with this lady, and she was nice, I said, we have a medical doctor. I'm talking about a real doctor that holds a degree in medicine, practice medicine on our council, brings tremendous insight to the challenges that we face when we discuss these sort of things. And so what I told her, I said, my commitment to the people is to manage for the common good, and that's what I'm going to do. And my decisions could be somewhat impacted by decisions of others when you evaluate them if they make sense. But the mere fact that a city or a county down the road is doing this, that is not justification for me as mayor to put us back in the park and rec business. Would you agree with that thinking?
I would agree with it. I think the reasons that we had initially, and and I'll let you know this as well, for shutting down and for trying to protect our employees and our community, those reasons haven't changed. The interpretation of the effects have by different people, but those reasons haven't changed. And I think as far as with what we're doing for the city and for Jasper and making decisions for ourselves, then I think that we're justified in the decisions that we're making.
Yeah. Well, I had a lady, and well, she brought a valid point, and it kind of hit me between the eyes. She said, well, these children are going to school, and I mean, that's true. Of course, going to school, I would think that would be a more supervised environment than we might see out here playing soccer or softball or something. Would that be a fair way to look at that?
Absolutely. When it comes to the public and historically our sports, evenings when the gym is packed, when the fields are there, there's not really a infrastructure set in place, maybe like the school system does at one of their activities, to go around and have people adhere to the suggestions or the mandates out there. And so I have been at a lot of the high school events, and you do have school staff that are going up and down the hallways and up and down the bleachers taking care of that. I just don't feel like we have those capabilities in parks and recreation at the level that is needed with the amount of kids that we have out there.
Well, I have very good connections with the healthcare industry and nationwide, statewide, countywide, right here in this city. People are dying every day from COVID. Every day. You only have to see the expanded number of obituaries, and while that doesn't reveal, in most cases, the cause of death, but as I talk to the folks that run our cemeteries and they give me feedback, it is real. And what I know, what I'm hearing is that the government, the state of Alabama, the governor may look at lifting the mask order, don't know. So we'll have challenging decisions to make as we go forward, but I know enough about our council, and I can tell you my commitment is to make decisions that we think are best for the people of Jasper. Will it make everybody happy? I don't know. I can't predict what these decisions will be, but we will manage for the common good, and if we do that, then we've carried out our duty as elected officials. Now, understanding that our young people need recreational outlets, and I was talking with some folks about our operations for financial operations, fiscal year 2020 that wound down September 30th, 2020, and we had an excellent year, and you dig deep into that, and you know what happened to your revenue, what happened to your expenses. Of course, our revenues grew, that was good, but we had some significant savings in our operation, and some of these savings were driven by the lack of our recreation programs we have for young folk. And when I told these folks, I said, I don't like to save money that way, where our young folks can't do the things that we want them to do in this city and have an opportunity to play some sort of ball and whatever. And I said, I told these folks, I said, I hope that comes to an end soon, because we want to spend every penny that we budgeted for that to provide opportunities for our young people. With that in mind, I've spoken with parents. Peter and I talk often, and what I've asked Peter to do, and that work is underway, is begin to look at what we might to do in the way of opening some of our ball fields for our young people to practice. We would not approve competitive play at this point. There'd be limitations on this if we get this put in place, and I think it will come with something that may not be what everybody would like, but it's more than we have now. And Peter, I know you're thinking through that and trying to come with a plan.
We're putting some things in place as far as what we can do to provide the fields for teams that might be local but not within the recreation system, the programming that we have, but to provide them places to practice and to get outside. And so we're looking at that, putting that together, as well as getting back on the fields to maintain those, because there hasn't been practice or play on those things in about a year. And so it's a little bit more than just dragging a field. So our guys are totally capable of doing that, but hopefully we'll be having something out there that we can present at some point in the future.
Well, Peter, what I hear is if we can make this work out, it probably needs to be in place maybe about the first week in March. Is that about right?
Probably so, weather permitting, but I think we'll be able to get some fields ready and a schedule in place by that point.
Yeah. As you point out, we have very capable people, committed people that do a good job in our park and rec crew. They have the kinds of equipment, and they have it in sufficient quantities to do the work that Peter just described, and they can do it well, can't they?
Yes, sir. They could do that well. I mean, we've got guys that are in Parks and Recreation because they want to provide fields, nice places to play, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. And so while we're itching to go out and do stuff, I know they're itching to go out and get these fields ready.
Good. Well, be assured that we're doing everything we can within the bounds of good judgment to provide opportunities for our young people. And Peter, I appreciate you joining me this morning, and we'll move along. And as we progress in this area, we'll talk about it here on the Mayor's Weekly. Always welcome your questions, calls, and we'll get you an answer in short order. So I'd ask you to continue to take the precautionary measures that's been rolled out to us in preventing the spread of COVID, and because, as I've said numerous times here, the life you save may be yours. We'll look forward to having you with us next week. Thank you.
Thank you.